And so when Sega didn't do it, we just figured, what the hell, let's finish it ourselves. When Shenmue III came around, it was 2 years after we did Shenmue II, and so a lot of time had passed. We had learned all sorts of new stuff. We had stepped up to digital. We had a lot more obstacles. We were shooting in a lot of new locations. We were shooting downtown at UIC, and it was quite a fiasco, but we got through it, and we were able to finish the movie and put it out on the internet with the rest of them.
It took a while to write it all. Me and Mike did double team the writing though when that started.
We developed the story for Shenmue III mostly the same way that most fans came up with theories about what was going to happen. We looked at the first two games and all the unresolved storylines. We looked at a lot of the production material from things that hadn't been released yet, like character art and stuff like that.
The end result was a serious story that did justice to the rest of the Shenmue saga while keeping with the humorous nature of their other movies.
I actually thought it was pretty brilliant, the way it all kind of came together.
Oh, man.
Their story begins the day after Ryo and Shenfa visit the stone pit. Still unsure behind the meaning of the stone mirrors, they decide to head to Bailu village to find the answers. Before heading out, Ryo notices a picture of a city hanging on the wall. Shenfa tells him it's a picture of Luoyang, an ancient city that flourished during the Tang dynasty. Despite having never been there, the picture has always given her a nostalgic feeling as if she had been there before. When they get to Bailu village, Ryo and Shenfa arrive at the library and find records regarding the stone mirrors and the legend of Chiyo. According to the records, in ancient times, a dragon known as Chiyo was released and caused massive destruction across China. It wasn't until one with the power of the Great Phoenix that the monster was able to be defeated. After the epic battle, an ancient emperor of China ordered the creation of 2 stone mirrors that would trap the spirits of the phoenix and the dragon. The mirrors were handed down through generations of Chinese emperors. After the rise of Mao Zedong and the fall of the Qing dynasty, the last emperor had a tomb constructed for himself where he and all his treasures were buried. The location of the emperor's tomb would only be revealed through the 2 stone mirrors. Before his death, he ordered that the mirrors be taken away until the time came for the Qing dynasty to be revived. According to the prophecy, the Qing dynasty could only be restored by a descendant of the royal line. This event would only be brought about by the flower of the Qing dynasty's symbolic tree, Shenmu. Shenfa recalls her father telling her that the emperor's children were cast into exile and forced to hide from those seeking to eliminate the remaining Qing dynasty bloodline. To learn more about the Qing dynasty, they head to Mangoon, where the last of the bloodline was supposedly buried. Unbeknownst to them, they are being closely monitored by Niao Sun, a member of the Chiyo men. After hearing of their journey to Mangoon, she begins reporting their progress to the rest of the Chiyo men. Meanwhile, back in Hong Kong, Ren, Joy, and Wong decide to team up with Shu Ying, Master Chen, and Guizhong to help Ryo take on Lan Di and the Chiyo men. After the Mad Angels were defeated, Master Chen learned that the Chiyo men have recently set up a base in Guilin for an undisclosed reason. They believe Lan Di may soon be heading to Guilin, so they decide to head there and track him down along with Ryo. When Ryo and Shenfa arrive at Mangoon, they begin to search for graves related to the Qing dynasty. During their search, Ryo recognizes a name among one of the headstones. It is the gravesite of Zhao Sun Ming, Lan Di's father. Alongside the headstone, Ryo finds a hidden journal written by his father Iwao. The journal contains a final confession by Iwao regarding the death of Zhao Sun Ming. During a trip to Mangoon to continue their training, Zhao Sun Ming came upon 2 stone mirrors which began to drive him and Iwao mad. They soon violently fought over the mirrors until Iwao killed Zhao with his bare hands. Realizing what he had done, Iwao decided to seek the aid of Zhu Yuanda regarding the 2 stone mirrors, only telling him that Zhao had died in Mangoon. Recognizing the mirrors, Zhu Yuanda instructed Iwao to keep the mirrors separate or else he would fall victim to them once again. Ryo believes Lan Di may have found this journal and learned of Iwao and the mirrors. Suddenly, Shenfa is kidnapped by the Chiyo men. Ryo chases after them, but he is easily defeated by a member of the Chiyo men and taken away to their lair. When Ryo wakes up, he finds himself face to face with Lan Di. Soon, Ryo is forced into giving Lan Di the Phoenix Mirror in exchange for Shenfa's life. Once Lan Di obtains the mirror, he reveals to Ryo that he has no intention of handing over Shenfa, as she is the last remaining descendant of the Qing dynasty. The Chiyo men intend to use Shenfa to locate the last emperor's tomb and resurrect the dragon Chiyo. Lan Di then departs from Ryo and leaves with Shenfa onto a train. Ryo gives chase and manages to climb aboard the train. Suddenly, he is confronted by the same member of the Chiyo men who defeated him earlier. Before he can kill Ryo, he finds the pendant given to Ryo by Shu Ying. It turns out that the man Ryo had been fighting with was none other than Ziming, Shu Ying's long-lost brother. Ryo accidentally falls from the train but is saved by Joy, who takes him to where the others are waiting. Ryo discusses with the others what has transpired since they last met and Lan Di's plans for the two stone mirrors. Knowing that they must stop Lan Di from following through with this plan, they must first find out where he has headed. Ryo recalls the city Lu Yong told to him by Shenfa and begins the search there. They find the base of the Chiyo men and manage to sneak inside. When Ryo finds Lan Di with Shenfa, Shu Ying encounters Ziming. They immediately recognize each other, but once they do, Niao soon kills Ziming, fearing he may turn against the Chiyo men. Suddenly, Lan Di chooses to combine both mirrors, which results in the resurrection of the Emperor's dragon army. Lan Di tells Ryo that the only way to stop the Chiyo men's army is to defeat him in combat. Once Ryo manages to kill Lan Di, he learns that he has been tricked. Lan Di was planning to use his own death to serve as the sacrifice necessary to initiate the revival of Chiyo. With Lan Di's death, his soul is absorbed into Niao Sun, who then transforms to become the Dragon Chiyo. Once rejoined with the others, Ryo learns that in order to resurrect the Great Phoenix to defeat Chiyo, a descendant of the Qing dynasty must be sacrificed. Before Ryo can act, Shenfa willingly sacrifices herself and dies in Ryo's arms.
Ryo, I'm going to die now.
What do you mean?
I'm going to die now.
No.
Don't worry, Ryo. It's my destiny.
Just then, Shenfa becomes absorbed into Ryo, giving him the power of the Great Phoenix. Ryo launches into the sky to perform a powerful attack, destroying Chiyo forever. After the battle, Ryo awakes to find himself surrounded by friends. With Chiyo eliminated, Ryo unlocks the treasures of the Qing dynasty and becomes the new emperor.
Now come the days of the Hazuki dynasty. May they be blessed.
When Ryo began his quest, his intention was to right the wrongs brought about by his father's death. In the end, he came to realize his destiny to save the world from the destruction of an ancient evil. Now that order has been restored once again, Ryo returns home and lives out the rest of his life in peace.
I think everyone was satisfied with our movie. It seemed like by the time we got our third movie out that the hype for Shenmue III had all but died, so we didn't get as much feedback as we thought we would have, or that we'd like to have gotten back, but everything that we got back was definitely positive.
The hardcore fans, they saw Shenmue 3, and we got the same feedback from them that we got from the other movies, that they liked it. A lot of them came to accept it as an actual ending to the Shenmue saga, because who knows if we're ever going to get another one. So it's a good feeling to know that even if Shenmue never ends, I think a lot of people are going to consider our Shenmue 3 to be the acceptable ending to the story.
The Shenmue series was a prime example of just how great a risk Sega was willing to take. Development of the first 2 games was likely the most ambitious and expensive endeavor they have ever taken on. Yu Suzuki managed to design a game on an epic scale never seen before. While both games were praised by many fans and critics, they never achieved the level of success Sega wanted from them. At the same time, with the short-lived existence of the Dreamcast, it was a franchise that probably never could. With Sega now under a new management with different business goals, the chance they would take such a risk again seems impossible.
Well, I have to ask, what are the chances for Shenmue 3? How's that looking? You know, I could ask you a dozen questions about this IP.
There are people out there who still think, you know, okay, Sega's getting ready to... They're waiting.
I don't think we could say any louder or any clearer. There's no plans to do a Shenmue 3 right now. It's definitely one of the most requested fanboy games, but no plans right now.
Currently, Yu Suzuki is no longer seen as the star programmer at Sega like he once was. To this day, Yu Suzuki still continues to work at Sega, but remains out of the spotlight. Despite Shenmue's bleak future and love-hate relationship among gamers, there's no denying that Yu Suzuki's unique vision for a video game with an open-world environment and cinematic narrative has gone on to inspire many other developers and change what we've come to experience from a video game.
For the people who gave it a chance, it was really a great gaming experience. The same as why movies, any kind of movie or game is memorable. It's just that the story kind of sticks with you. The characters, you become so invested in the characters that you really want to see what happens to them. I think the need for closure is extremely strong, and that's why a lot of the fans are never going to give up hope for a sequel, because you know, they're always going to wonder what's going to happen.
Well, I think it's like most things that people, you know, find themselves attached to, like TV series not having an ending, or even movies not having an ending, or not having a sequel that's been left open.
I think everyone can understand why the third game hasn't been made, just because the first two were so unpopular, and you know, they just couldn't get people interested in a game where you walked around. But I think it's only a matter of time before Shenmue comes back, and I'm sure they'll reinvent it in a way that will make it more appealing, seeing as there's been so many innovations in games since Shenmue 2 came out. I think they'll finally find a way to get people interested in it, and to also satisfy the fans who are looking for an ending to the story.